Ooh, Armageddon. Good evening, all. It is Friday night. I was just watching Who Needs a Drink, one of my favorite shows on the YouTube broadcasting system, YTBS, if that's not a thing. How are you all doing tonight? I got 7 in the room so far. I guess everybody needs a drink. I do too, and maybe I'll grab one halfway through the show. But anyway, how are you all doing? All 7 of you. Who's in the room? Time flies. Easy. Hey, Dirk, we at Ush's place. Hang tight, brother. Yeah, I see that. I don't know. He said he's gonna push everybody over, which would be a cavalcade of viewer pleasure for me because it's a baby show. We're just starting out, and we're slowly getting into it. Yeah, it's been fun so far. I mean, last night was a much better night than Tuesday, the ill-fated Tuesday debut, because we did Fashion Police with the lovely Michaela and Ush. And Tuesday, I had my ill-fated show. It's a shame. It was a really great show. Everybody's terrific on it. But what happened was my computer just wanted to take a shitter. So I think I've pretty much nailed what that was, unless everything goes awry tonight. Unbelievable. Actually, this background, if you're listening, is from the movie Rosemary's Baby, which is a movie that I love, and I tried to get Asheen into, and he just didn't get it. I don't know. Maybe it just was the mood he was in, because it's a classic, Roman Polanski, and it's for all of his foibles. He's a terrific director. It was Mia Farrow, John Cassavetes, Stanley Blackmer, the incomparable Ruth Gordon, who won an Academy Award for it. Anyway, there's a reason why I called tonight's show Armageddon, and I'll get into it briefly because it was so incredibly stupid. I was in the post office, and this lovely lady behind me, and I use the word lovely and the word lady very cautiously. She was neither. She looked like a wildebeest, and she had a mouth on her like I have never heard before. Oh, look at this. I got my first super sticker. I got the lovely Dana O'Malley, my best girlfriend. I miss you, love. We need a night. So this picture is there's a scene in the movie where, Rosemary gets impregnated by the devil, and her neighbors next door are Satanists, and she goes through the closet, and it turns out, because they live in the Dakota, it's not called that in the movie. It's called the Bramford, and but it's the Dakota, and all these giant apartments, these 10-room, 12-room apartments, have been chopped down to rent them out. So she's got what's called a Classic 4. So she finds out that there's access to the Castavet's apartment through her door, and she goes in there because she's trying to find out, like, because she was told her baby's dead, but she hears, oh, Satana, all this kind of devil worshipy, fun chanty stuff. So she goes to the door, and she enters their apartment, and there's a bunch of people all the way down the hall in the living room. They're having a celebration because that's where the baby is. And she passes by this picture, and I was able to get it from a 4K rendering screenshot. Then I had to tweak it a little bit, but it's it's like people have pictures of the beach or Venice or Rome or the Vatican. Well, they have pictures of Armageddon or hell as they know it, and as if that's look at it. Here's a wonderful place where we went on vacation. We went to hell. So anyway, 13 in the room now, and we do need the lady. Oh, the lady. I was watching The Sopranos. I've been rewatching The Sopranos because it's such a great show. And there's a scene where he's sitting at a table, and listen, they're like Jersey Dutroux, and they're all idiots. But he's sitting at a table, and he's got a bottle of Pichon Longueville Comtesse de Lalande, which is our favorite wine, me and and DO. It's our favorite thing. We call her the lady. Pichon Longueville Comtesse de Lande. It's a Pouillac, and it's a second growth Bordeaux. So it's a 250, 350 a bottle. We used to get it cheaper, but prices. Thank you, China. Thanks, China, buying all the Bordeaux. But we've drank many a great vintage of that, and I couldn't see what it was on Tony's table, but that show was in 2000, right? Did it start in 99? And it was around the first or second season, so it was probably a 20-year-old bottle then. But it was crazy. So 16 in the room, we got Paul Cullen, right? What's going on? Are you home watching my my third show? I had a shitty day. I woke up with a bit of a head cold. I could feel it coming on, when you got that taste in the back of your mouth and everything is just blah. Coffee is blah. Meanwhile, I'm drinking coffee now. My voice is very scratchy, post-nasal drip. So I took 2 COVID tests because everybody's getting COVID in New York. Everyone's getting COVID in New York. But it was negative. Thankfully. I didn't get the vaccine this year because I'm starting to believe everyone. I'm starting to believe Fox News and Newsmax and my neighbor who says it's poison. I've had 5 already. The first 4 uneventful. Nothing happened. I did get COVID, but very mildly. I've had it 3 times. The last time I got it stacked with a flu shot, and I will never, ever, 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 ever fucking do that again, because that had me laying on my back for a week. And the other thing that happened this morning, and here she is making a surprise, is Laverne did not feel well this morning, and I'm a very panicky dad. And she threw up at 3 o'clock in the morning, then at 10 o'clock, then at 3 o'clock, then at 1 o'clock. And I said, all right, that's it. So we went to the doctor. And because I wasn't having that. And they did a bunch of tests and they couldn't figure anything wrong with her. And they gave her some Serenio, which is to keep her tum-tum feeling better. Because it wasn't the usual. She throws up a lot because she's a cat, but she wound up feeling weird. You can always tell when your loved ones don't feel well. And my loved ones, will get to this in a minute after the Armageddon impetus for the title. So we went to this new vet that opened up in Long Island City, and I really liked them. They were great, and they took care of her. They even trimmed her nails, and yeah, it was pretty good. And so she's been sleeping because Serenia makes you sleepy, but she just showed up now, and it was like I was trying to time it where I fed her because I was allowed to feed her after like 2 hours, and so far so good. And then what I was hoping for was like an hour of respite. So there might be a moment, like a 2, not even 1 minute moment, where I just blacken out the screen. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. I usually have a cohort with me just to make sure that she is feeling okay. So yeah, so I'm having coffee, and I took some Baraka, which is my favorite. It's a hangover cure and a vitamin tablet, but I like it for when I don't feel well because I think it's got zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D, and it's got a bunch of stuff. I just you just feel, bleh. That's why I didn't open up the show with a song, because I'm not in vocal prime right now. So who else have we got going on here? Dirk, did you adopt from ASPCA or no? I adopted Laverne from 48th Avenue. I was downstairs, and at the time I had a cat. I had another cat named Murray, and he was an older man. And we have these great neighbors, and they live in this very kind of cool house. It's very original. It's from the 1800s, and they have a lot of cats there, or a couple of raccoons. Yes, there are raccoons in Queens. And there was this kitten outside hanging around with all the big boys. She was this tiny little thing with a funny little face. And I said, oh, shit. What is she doing? She's going to get knocked up. That's the first thing I thought of. And she's so pretty. And I said to my neighbor, Pat, I said, what's up with the kitten? She goes, she's ugly, right? I said, no, she's not ugly. She's beautiful. She goes, she's got a funny looking face. I said, fuck this. And I just went up to her to see if she was friendly, and she was. And I just grabbed her and I took her upstairs. I put her in a basket and I took her over to the vet. And they said they gave her a flea shampoo, dry flea shampoo to make sure she didn't have fleas. And then I went to try to go make an appointment to have her fixed because she was just a little too young. So I had to wait a couple weeks. But she kept going into heat every time I had an appointment. So, like they breed like cats. Well, she probably went into heat like 4 times before I could actually get her to the vet and have her spayed. And I finally did. And that was 14 years ago. And when Murray passed away, we didn't get another cat because she became the princess. So you have this cough. And it's like, I don't usually get coughs. Pardon me. Let's see. Christian Coleman says 25 milligrams zinc with every meal and every 2 hours, 500 milligrams vitamin C. What's funny is this, I'm so not hungry. When I don't feel well, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry at all. So I haven't eaten anything today. I was going to make soup later because, when you feel crappy, I made like 500 cups of Lion's Green Label tea, good Irish cuppa. And yeah. So anyway, here's the show. Going to check on Laverne in a minute. It'll take less than 30 seconds. But I'll tell you the reason why I called the show Armageddon tonight. I was actually going to do part 2 of my favorite things because people were really starting to get into it, and it was really kind of fun. So today I had some vinyl and some CDs to mail out because, my band has this system where we have a deal with our record company for they have Europe and Japan has Japan, and we have we kept the United States. So all the vinyl and CDs that are manufactured are mail order. We never wanted them imported because it's really, you're going to import a record too. So anyway, I go to the post office and it's kind of busy because, 'tis the season to go postal, fa la 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 la. And I have my box, 4 vinyl albums, 10 CDs, a bunch of stuff, a couple things. And there's this girl behind me, and she's on the phone. She's talking really, really, really loud. And she's saying to whomever's on the phone, it's fucking Armageddon in here. This fucking place. It's fucking Armageddon. And I'm laughing. Like, what does she mean by that? Well, then she told me. She goes, can I go before you? I only have to get this, this, and this. And you look like you got a shitload of stuff. It's going to take forever. And I said, be my guest. Because I would love for her to get out of there because she's a Karen. And I said, I was very kind to her. She goes, I said, be my guest. And she goes, thank God. I have to deal with these bleeps, 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 bleeps. It was every racial epithet I have ever heard in my entire life in one sentence. Because, I'm a white guy, so she can use the N word and the C word and the S word and the F word, because I don't come off any way other than just a white dude. And most people think I'm either a priest or a cop. And holy shit, she went off on a tirade. It's fucking Armageddon around. She's off the phone at this point. It's fucking Armageddon around here with all these mooks and motherfuckers taking control of the country. She goes, you know what? My family came over here 100 years ago and built this country and blah, blah. She's talking. I said, are you Irish or Italian? She goes, no, we're from Lithuania. And I went, oh, okay. Were you guys, what were you guys involved in? I played stupid, because we all know who built America, and it wasn't them. She goes, yeah, my great grandfather came over here and he had already gotten married, but he it wasn't working out, so he left her and he came over here and he got married. And I said, oh, did he go through Ellis Island? She goes, no, he got on a boat and he jumped off right before it came to port. And I said, oh, so he's an illegal immigrant. And she goes, yeah, but it wasn't the same that back then, you know? I mean, America was bullshit. You know, it's not the America that we know now. I said, well, wow. What do you mean it was bullshit? She goes, well, there wasn't all these motherfuckers in this country. And I said, wow, the motherfuckers. Right. They weren't here. Sometimes when people go really, really, really crazy, I egg them on because I just want to hear more of it. Do tell, you fascinating racist cunt. So she went off like, I mean, this went on. There was a very long line and it was very entertaining for everybody there. And it was lots of people of different nationalities, borders, and countries, and colors, and things. And they were all afraid of her because she's nuts. And she's from Lithuania, you know, and they built America. And I said, I didn't know. I said, is there a big Lithuanian diaspora in the States that built it? And what did you do? Ironwork or the subways or bricks, or what did you do? What exactly did you do? She goes, oh, all kinds of shit. My father and his father before him, they ran a business. I said, oh, what kind of business? And she said, well, you know, he was a loan shark. Yeah. So I'm smelling Newsmax and AON and all those, you know, far right of center channels. Now, I watch some of them too, because as most of you know, I'm like smack dab in the middle. I disagree with a ton of right shit and I disagree with a lot of left stuff. And I think that moderation is the key to success here. And to avoid Armageddon, I think people need to understand that different people have different values. You need to respect people from other countries and different cultures and all kinds of things. And, you know, of course, I don't like radicalizing, and I don't like being preached to, and I don't like real estate takeovers. You know, well, who needs war when you've got real estate, right? Why go to war? Why pick up a gun? That's what I see. My brother's a realtor, and I see what's going on. But this chick, oh my God. So she's got people like nervous, really, really, really nervous. And she's like, all I can say is, those motherfuckers are going to indict the greatest man who's ever lived on planet fucking Earth. And that's Donald J. Trump. And I would give my life for that man. I would give my life for him. And I said, oh, he's so worthy, isn't he? I mean, what a patriot. She goes, patriot. You don't know the half of it. My family is very, very patriotic. We're, you know, we built America. We're the Lithuanians that built America. And my father was a loan shark. And I said, may I ask what you do? She goes, well, I'm in a disability. Ba-dum-bum. So I had to check out at some point when she finally got up to the line. The woman at the thing closed her window down, so I was like, "Oh fuck! I have to stand next to this crazy bitch again." And she whispers in my ear, and she goes, "All those bleep 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 behind us." She goes, "They're all trying to kill us, all of us. They're trying to annihilate us." And the window opened up. And she laughed, and I said, not me, but maybe you. And she didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. She just looked at me like, what? Not me, but maybe you. So, political Armageddon. I was like, what a perfect title for tonight's broadcast. Even though tonight's we're going to go through the history of the Milgauss, talk about some fun stuff. I am going to take questions. Whoever wasn't able to make it last night, I think it would be really, really super cool if you chimed in and told me about your favorite things. And of course, we all know wristwatch check. My favorite thing right now is, can I get a good picture? Like my new camera setup's working out real well. Can I get the green on there? I can't, right? That's really hard. Is the Rolex Milgauss 11640 GV. This is a absolute stunner of a timepiece, and I've been giving it an incredible amount of wrist time. And sadly, the Speedmaster has been in her case, and I'll just take this out so you can have a better look at it. Can you get that? I hate the fact that you can't see it on this camera. I relit my whole room, so it's a lot better now. And but I gotta get better lighting for like the front of the camera so you can see stuff. Yeah, and it's magnetic up to 1,000 gas and probably more because it's got a blue parachrome hairspring. So yeah, so she went to her window and everybody breathed a sigh of relief. And this guy behind me, he was an African American guy, and he just looked at me. He goes, "Man, you deserve the Nobel Peace Prize for dealing with that bitch." And I said to everyone in the line, I said, "I just want to say how incredibly sorry I am that you had to deal with that, but please understand that that's mental illness, not the same mental illness that everybody blames why everybody gets shot in schools. Well, guns are a mental illness problem. No, mental illness is mental illness. It's like I know lots of people who own guns and they're responsible people, even hunters, which I don't agree with hunting. I would never do. I mean, I just don't know how you could do it. I just don't know how you can actually see a beautiful creature in your sights and then take it down. That just doesn't, my brain can't process that. If you were starving and you're in the tundra and you're in the woods, okay, you got to survive. I get that. Like they had to do it back in the days, but now you can just go and get some innocuous meat. You know, you can't tell what it was. It's formed into some kind of patty. That, I mean, but just to go out there and do it, but people do it for fun. Like the Crown, the new season of the Crown is on, and William's feeling blue, very blues before Diana was killed, and his auntie says, Princess Anne says to her brother, I think it's time. I think it's time. He got his. He got one. And turns out he took him up to the Highlands, and they found this like 5-point stag, and William got him in his sight, and he took down this beautiful creature. And the next thing you know, you see them smearing the blood. Mind you, he is the heir apparent to Great Britain. This is not a guy that needs to put something on the table. He did that strictly for blood sport, which is crazy to me. And, you know, anyway, let's change the subject. Easy. You like French or Argentinian Malbec? There's a huge difference. I do prefer the Marchiore vineyards compared to the south of France, of course. And you know what? I'm not a Malbec drinker. Don't really like it. I like Pauillac and Pomerol, and I like great Burgundy. Something about Malbec's not my thing. I'm also not a big fan of New World wines. I just don't think the winemaking's quite there yet. I get headaches from it, and I've had some of the good stuff. It just doesn't agree with me. I know that there's some fine wines being made. I don't like California wine either, except for 4 or 5 of them. I like Opus. I like Chateau Montelena. I like Hess. I like Gergich a lot. But anyway, you know, Danielle says, Dirk, isn't it amazing how the parasites are the ones that chirp the loudest? Isn't that a fact? Isn't that a fact? They chirp the loudest. A normal person would have no need to do that. I mean, why would anybody do that? You know, I open up doors for people. I'm not saying I'm some kind of saint because I talk behind people's back and say, you motherfucker or whatever. But I always hold the door open for ladies. I always say please and thank you, only because my parents taught me to do that. And I think that that's great. And I think that you should. You know, if you watch any of those funny Trump rally places where I forget the guy's name, he's hilarious. He's this big, tall, gangly guy, and he goes there and he kind of, you know, rides them on, and they kind of just indict themselves, and it's pretty funny. But he does it. To be fair, there's a lot of people that do it on the left too, because they're equally as stupid. I think everyone's equally as smart and equally as stupid. There's dumb dumbs on both sides. So Like my friends always say, I'm not left enough for my left friends. I'm not right enough for my right friends. And that's just how it is. Because I think that there's moderation. And I think that if everybody uh, looked at the core values and the needs of the people in this country, everybody's are different, so you have to weigh it out. What you need is different from what other people need. I don't think you should give everything away to people. I think people have to earn stuff. I think some people deserve it. People who are actually poor need money. People who are lazy don't, and I think that exists. But I don't want to get into that whole thing. I just thought it was funny that this crazy racist bitch in the post office reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where the girl goes, "Don't fuck with me. I'm a federal agent. I work for the post office." Good. They do chirp the loudest, and for some crazy ass reason, they get away with it, And I just was listening. I was interested in listening to her because I just couldn't believe what she had to say. I almost felt like grabbing her by the pussy. How would that go down? I'd get arrested immediately. Mark from Brooklyn says former Governor Andrew Cuomo is a proud Italian American. Okay, here's a story. I went to school with the Cuomos. I went to school with Chris. My sister went to school with Madeline. We went to Immaculate Conception School in Jamaica Estates, Queens, New York. And Mrs. Cuomo, was Matilda Cuomo, was my chess teacher. And so she was a substitute teacher and she was our chess instructor. And I took two years of chess. She was lovely. I knew Mario Cuomo pretty well because I was an altar boy. I worked one of their funerals. He's a great dude. They're a lovely family. They lived in Holliswood. They were great. Chris, I didn't know him all that well. He was in a different homeroom than me. My sister knew Madeline really well. And my sister knew Andrew quite well, the governor. And he got thrown. He was a great governor. He really handled, he did a fine job during the COVID crisis. Every day broadcasting, every day updates, and stuff that it was a great example. And then somebody came out and said, but he put his arm around me. Political Armageddon, political correctness, wokeism. We're all guilty of some of it. I'm guilty of some of it too. I'm less woke than others, more woke than some. But like I think I've on the Asheen bashers, I think I have certainly talked about how while I'm very angry at Kevin Spacey for saying I've decided to come out as a gay man during this whole thing because I inappropriately, whatever. His excuse was lame, but he really didn't do anything. He's just a handsy old queen. And, listen, cut that out or I'll give you a half an hour to cut that out. I'll give you a half an hour to cut that out. Obviously, that's what they did, except for Anthony Rapp, who's a scumbag, and I won't watch Star Trek. And I'm the biggest. These are a few of my favorite things. Star Trek. I'm a big Star Trek guy. I like all of them but Deep Space Nine, which I hate. And he's on the show Discovery, and I was watching it. And when that shit came on, I just said, I'm done. Because that guy, he ruined one of the greatest actors' career. Maybe Kevin Spacey needs a little bit of behavioral training, saying, listen, in this day and age, grabbing a guy's ass or fondling his genitals under a bar is probably a bad idea. And I agree that probably is. And I think that people like that need to have someone speak to them on his movie set, or has he been spoken to, or is he, because he's Kevin Spacey, has nobody spoken to him yet? People need to be told, unless you're a rapist or a murderer. But if you're, flirtatious, can we be flirty? Can you flirt with someone now and it not be sexual harassment? Can you do that? You can if you're John Hamm. You can if you're, like the big joke was, what's in The Office? What's the difference between a hot date and an HR trip to HR. He's ugly, which is kind of true. I mean, she's ugly, he's ugly, they're ugly, whoever. Because now it's like, that turnip that hit on me because people might identify as turnips. That whole thing. That's where I don't. That's where the left really hates me. They hate they hate me talking about how the identifying things are so cool, and we are so advanced that we're doing that now. I was recently at a doctor's appointment, and it said on the intake form, it said gender assigned at birth. So I kind of wanted to be a dick, and I went up to the counter and I said, because 15 years ago that sentence would not make sense in the English language. Because it doesn't make, you're not assigned a gender. You're born male or female. Even if you don't agree with it later on, you certainly can identify as a different sex, and more power to you, because some people definitely are born that way, and they definitely should. It has nothing to do with gay or straight or anything. Some people were just born the wrong sex. The chromosomes didn't match up. It just didn't happen. But assigned at birth. And she goes, she goes, how old are you? And I said, old enough. So I just checked female because I thought it was funny. And I just think that that's really confusing to people because, it's not like, black is black and white is white and Heineken is Heineken and Budweiser is Budweiser and penis is penis and vagina is vagina. If you don't want one of those things, you can change it later on. Or you can say, I was never any of those things. And you have to do it carefully because these are people who, and I just recently worked with one, and she was assigned female at birth and was living her life as a man. I couldn't tell. She was really a dude. And then she told me the whole story, and I was like, that's great. How's it going? And she's like, oh, it's going really great. I said, she goes, but I'm really lucky because I'm kind of masculine. I was like, yeah, I could see that. I said, it didn't really work for Bruce Jenner. And she laughed. And she goes, yeah, why is it all these dumb guys do it at 66? She did it at 22, which is very young. I certainly don't think anybody should think about that younger than that. I think you need time to grow into yourself. I didn't know who or what I wanted to be, I wasn't confused about gender. I knew I was gay when I was very young. I just was, being in your 50s, you just kept it a secret. You just took it behind the barn. But, and it was kind of fun and sneaky and scary. But, yeah. So I just thought that was really funny. And I digressed to the point where it's just, woke. I don't know. A couple of years from now, we'll find the middle of the road, and we'll have compassion towards the people that deserve the compassion. And then there's people like Bruce Jenner who don't, because everybody forgets that he killed somebody right before all of this revelation. He was on the cell phone in like La Cienega to the 405 to the PCH. He was doing his LA thing. And Stuart, what are you doing here? He bumped into the back of a car, and that car hit another car, and that woman died. And it was because he was on the phone. How did that get buried? If you did that, you'd go to jail. You'd go to jail. Eazy-E says, have you ever had Petrus? Yes, I have. Oisin and I had a bottle together for my 45th birthday. He had a friend who got one it was in an auction lot, and it was a 1998 Petrus, and the label was almost completely gone. So it wasn't as, going to fetch as much money. Those bottles go for $11,000, $12,000. He said, my friend can get it because they own it. He said he'd get it for us for $900. So we chipped in $450 each. And so I went online. I got a picture of a 1998 Petrus. I threw it in Photoshop. I printed it on some decent paper, and then I crinkled it up. I put it in an ashtray, made it look real dirty, and then I used a glue stick and I put it on the bottle, and I have lots of photographs of it. And we drank that bottle of wine for about 4 hours. I'm so sorry you weren't there, Dana. I'm so sorry, because we will have our Petrus moment together. It was, oh man, what do you say? We decanted it for like 2 hours. What do you say about something that's purported to be one of the greatest wines ever in the history of the world? It was definitely, the greatest wine I've ever tasted, because every single pour, you do these little Bordeaux pours, like an inch in the glass, and you do a cunty, black licorice and wet stone, cigars, placenta. Come up with all kinds of shit. Anyway, it was whetstone, and it was slate, and it was dark and minerally, and it was outrageous. And then it opened up. It got a bit of fruit and a bit of tannins, and it was just, by the end of the bottle, 4 hours later, it was a mesmerizing experience. It was outrageous. So yeah, but we drank in our little club. The Sheen, Dana, her husband M, Sheen's brother, my partner Paul. We have sat around and we have drank some of the greatest wines that there are. We've drank 1,000 opuses. We drank 1,000 Pichon Longueville Comtesse de Lelondes. We have drunk, I should say. We have drunk. That's the correct conjugate. Pretty much most of them. What are you guys' favorite wines? What are you guys drinking? Whether you just came from Machine's broadcast, right? So how many drinks did you have? What have you been drinking? What have you been drinking? That's what I want to know. Let's see who's in the room. We've got OP Jeff. We've got Graham Cartwright. We've got Easy says that William Shatner had sexual charisma, machoism. Stewart had oratory, theatrical skills, different eggs. Patrick Stewart, man. Wow. But believe it or not, as much as I love him, my favorite Starfleet captain is Captain Catherine Janeway. I love Kate Mulgrew. I love her books. I love the way she says fire, engage. She's a fiery Irish American with a great story. She's very literate. I read her books and I had to look up like 10 words. I mean, she's incredible. She's just such a smart lady. And yeah, so she's my favorite. I also love Enterprise, the much maligned Star Trek series with Scott Bakula, Jolene Blalock, Connor Trenier. I love that show. I think it's beautiful. I think every single show has a great value lesson in real life. I think people need to know more about that. It was fantastic. But Patrick Stewart, yeah. I mean, listen, William Shatner, he's pushing 100, right? At this point, unbelievable. Okay, so Cheslina says, completely forgot about the death by reckless driving. Yeah, right. Hans Niesenthal, right? Better drinking, Chateau Pichon Loville 87, yeah. We've had a couple of Barons, and we just don't like them. Oh, and this is for Dana, right? What's total bullshit, Dana? What's total bullshit? The Pichon Longueville or my political stylings? She brought over a bottle of Clerc Million. Holy mackerel, was that incredible. It was incredible. So that was it. Actually, I got a Pichon. I found it. I was coming from work and she was coming in here and they were drinking on our deck, and it was unbelievable. Not even an Ing. What does that mean? INCG. I don't know what that means. I love you, but I don't know what that means. No, not even an inch. Not even an inch. Oh, what the pores are. Right. Han says Blue Nun. I remember I grew up and everybody in my house drank Blue Nun when they drank wine, because that was what the knackery Irish people drank, which means low class Irish people. Yeah, it's funny. Hit the Apex says it's not only the taste, it's the weight. One bottle evening. Listen, I can do a one bottle evening. We generally don't. We generally do 2 bottles or 5, depending. If it's just me and Dana, we do 2. We drink a bottle each when we're doing our thing. But it's usually not that. It's so rare when she comes in on business trips because they moved away. Then it's us, and we do other stuff. And she's got this really bad habit of cocktailing, and I don't cocktail. One, I can't keep up with you because she's better at drinking than I am, and that gets you to the finish line way faster. And she loves great cocktails. She loves espresso martinis, and I like to make them, but I don't like to drink them. I don't like hard liquor. I just like to drink the wine, and I do like a spritz. Anyway, we had a rule way back when: no cocktails. That didn't really work. Braemere Malbec, the old vineyard taste to it. I've not had it. I have not also had Viennese wines. I've had some Suture I've had, and that was really, really, really good. Christian says Ribera and Rioja. I've had I'm talking to you, Dana. I've had the orange peel wine, which is Vega Sicilia, which is the most celebrated Spanish wine ever, and I hated it. To me, it tastes like orange peels. Doesn't have the kind of, I like really super, super tanniny, dry, barely fruity, tastes like you just licked the sidewalk or ate a pencil case. That's what I like, But, that's what makes the world go around. Just like Graham Cartwright saying, sorry, Dirk, I love Deep Space Nine. Many of you do. I'm a part of some of the Star Trek communities, and there's a very, very, it rates very highly among people. I think it is so shitty. It's the same freaking scenario. I hate Ferenges. Ferenges, by the way, are these little tiny things with ears, and they're really ugly, and they're like gypsies. But I wrote this whole diatribe to somebody who has a Star Trek channel, and they really make them out to be it's very bad. It's a very bad depiction of a reflection of a people that inhabit the planet Earth, and I think it's really bad. So, no more to say about Deep Space Nine. It's also in a space station, which means nobody goes anywhere. Boring. Sad the new Kirk only got 3 movies. He's gonna get another one. Except I hate his new look with those short shorts and his smooth, supple, waxed body. He's just looking so fey. And I love Chris Pine. When that movie came out, I didn't like it. It felt like the OC in space. It felt like a bunch of entitled cats. And they were like, we're going to go to like Rigel 7. And then I caught on. And I like it a lot. I like them very much. And I think all 3 films are great. I think the second one was the best one. And I like the third one too. I didn't mind. Hey, Dirk, favorite haunting grounds, bars in Soho, West Village. I don't know. You'd have to ask wherever Dana takes me, because I don't go out. If I go out, I go out locally. That's about it. Blue Copper Coffee. Dirk, have you ever been to Belfast? I have not. And Sligo, where my people are from, my mom's side, where I spent almost every summer as a child, is literally 25 minutes from the border of Northern Ireland, and I've never been there. I've never been to Belfast. I would love to see it. Absolutely would love to see it. Jem Hader, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Absolutely love that show. It's great. He's incredible. What a captain. What a show. It's back to Gene Roddenberry. I'm not going to alienate the rest of the listeners because, it's Star Trek and that's so fucking geeky. Yeah. So, oh my God, it's a great show. Absolutely, absolutely great. Opie Jeff, did I miss a good Oshin live today? I heard it was great. I watched some of it. It was terrific. This is my girl. Do. We drink 2 over the course of 6 hours. We drink 6 over the course of 2 hours, you silly goose. Who are you? Who are you kidding? No, we do. When we go out, when she comes into town, her and I just do a duo night. We go out and we go to one of our favorite haunts, and we hit a couple of bottles. They put her up in a funny part of town. They put her up in like Times Square, and it's like I hadn't been to Times Square since I was a kid, or since all the porno was gone. Because why go there without all the porno? And actually, I've been there many times. After it got cleaned up, and it got so weird. It's a small world after all. It got so Disneyfied. It was such crap. Well, there's no porno there, but there's plenty of bums, heroin addicts, skeezy motherfuckers, people all over the place trying to rob you. We can all thank our Democratic mayor, Bill de Blasio, who was the worst piece of shit that ever did anything to. We had a great, before Rudy Giuliani lost his marbles and started spray painting his head. He was a great mayor. He did a great job with the city. He was America's mayor. We loved him. Then we had Mike Bloomberg, who was just the greatest. Everybody loves Mike. He's rich. He knew how to delegate. He was fantastic. And now then we had this guy, and she just put a blanket of shit all over this town. It's all fucked up. Don't go to Times Square. If you come to New York, stay away from there. If you're going to go to a Broadway show, get in an Uber, drop you off in front of the theater, have it pick you up in front of the theater. Do not go around Times Square. It's disgusting. It's horrible. Don't go near there. D.O. I pledged to never again pregame with cocktails prior to seeing you live. I know. You always do, but you can't. You're schmoozing people. I understand why it happens. It's not like you just, came from the office, had a shower and then went to meet Dirk. You are entertaining clients. I get it. And you always come back to me, and that's all that matters. Always red, never white has hit the apex. No, we drink white. We do. During the summer months, I like to spritz my white. I like to put ice cubes and a effervescent mineral beverage. That's what I enjoy. You know why? You can drink all day. If you're going to day drink, which I don't like, but if you do, just spritz all day long. You get a little buzz that just keeps on going, and you never get fucked up. You get buzzed the way you want it, like champagne. Every time I got on a flight, we'd go to Bobby Van's in Kennedy Airport, in the American Airlines terminal, get a split or two of Piper, which I love. I love champagne. It just doesn't love anybody. Champagne loves no one. I think everybody does love a glass of champagne. Well, I love it. I would love to have like 50 glasses of champagne. But there comes a point where your clothes are going to come off. You're going to call somebody a motherfucker. It's bad. It's ugly. Makes Paul pass out. Makes him literally pass out. And it makes Dana fall asleep when we're having a transatlantic flight. Champagne. If there was a way for them to figure out a way to make it that it just didn't, after the third glass you're not shot, and the sugar, it's so bad. Even if you're drinking Krug or Dom or Cristal or one of the great wines, and there's so many good ones, but I love champagne, man. But man, does it fuck me up. So anyway, we'd go get a couple of splits of that, the half bottles, maybe a little meze plate, hummus, baba ganoush, some pita. Get on the flight. You're already super buzzed because everybody needs a cocktail before they get on a flight. We'd all be nicer. And Karen wouldn't be Karen. She'd probably be Jocelyn or Allie. She'd be somebody else. All Karen needs to do, and if you're listening, Karen, go have a drink. Go to the bar and have a drink, because you're a twat and nobody wants you on their flight. Thank you. Travis Watts. I went to Napa for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It's a tourist trap. Enjoyed some tasting. Yeah, that's what happens. It's the same in Bordeaux and the same in Burgundy. Petrus doesn't even have a place you can go. Like the bigger places, you can't even go, which is cool. I mean, a lot of these vineyards are not great wineries, and they make their living. From tourism, from just wine tasting, having their bad Merlot, and I love a good Merlot, and that shit's not it, So Hans Niedertas says, shite, is this geek? No, it's not. It's just, but people are talking about stuff. I want to make sure everybody feels wanted. Even Topster McDonkey. I disagree. They act like pals. They don't even use official military rank titles. Writing is weak at best. Who's he talking about? I don't know. I'm lost. He says, Pickle, Travis Pickle. uh, Al Benedetti, Dirk, great show. Chris Pine's father was a sergeant in Chips. Robert Pine, I absolutely know because I've loved Chips, watched Chips, and I loved his dad. Could be why I'm gay. Bit of a handsome fucker there. Dirk, Dork. Oh, thanks, OP Jeff. Are there any American comparables to Times Square? No. You know what we don't have is what Europe has, Piazza Living, squares. We don't have them. We have Times Square, and it's a place to go get, murdered, and have, all of your finances, going straight to Bangladesh. No, we don't have that. We just don't have that culture. Whereas in Europe, you turn a corner and there's an open square and there's tables and people drinking wine and everybody's having a lovely time. We don't have that. We have hordes of people outside the Swatch store. We have people outside the Hard Rock Cafe. We have people outside of Fuddruckers and Junior's Cheesecake. We don't have, the Florian. We don't have a beautiful place where somebody goes and has high tea or a coffee, like with sandwiches. And we don't have that. We have Roy Rogers, and the shit that's in Times Square is just chain stores, disposable, crappy tourist wear. I love New York. Guys with, it just sucks. It just sucks. Totally sucks. Oh, Andrew's home. Hey, what'd you miss? We missed you. I don't know when you got here. 6:48. Oh, you got here a couple of minutes ago. Well, we talked about being woke. We talked about Star Trek. We talked about wine. Now we're talking about you. And how are you? We love you, man. And we're glad you worked late tonight. You see that. Anyway, really quickly, because you're all watch guys, and I had planned to do this earlier because of this, in honor of my beautiful 11640 GV. I wanted to just go through a couple of things that I was reading a really great article, and I thought you'd enjoy it. And look at that. Isn't that cool? This is from the 50s. This was the first ad that they had for the Rolex Milgauss. And it was all about science. Isn't that beautiful? I want a poster of that in my house. If anybody can find a print of that, let me know. Send me the link because I really want to know all about it. It's absolutely crazy. That's the very first Rolex Milgauss. Can you believe that? It's incredible. It had a rotating bezel back then in 1956. It was the 6451. Came out in 1956. It was the first anti-magnetic watch. It had the Faraday cage. It had the lightning bolt. But as you see, it had it with just a red tip. The rest of it was all silver. Amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then it shows you that they went to CERN, that's where they split the atom and they do all that stuff. They test light speed, all this stuff in Switzerland. And this is where there's a lot of stuff you can find on YouTube about the Milgauss because it's got such an incredible history. Of course, we now know it's discontinued. And it tells you all about CERN on this website. It's the collider is there, the Large Hadron Collider. And that's probably what's going to blow up. We're going to create a black hole. And that's going to be the end of it for us. So here are a couple of the early references. 1954 was a reference that it didn't come out in 54, but that was the first one, the 6541, and then the 6451, and then in 1956, then it was the 6543, the 6541, and the 6541 with the rotating bezels. Two different versions. For some reason, they seem to want to give the same reference number. Like all the Rolex Milgausses now, the white dial, the Z blue dial, they're all 11640 GV. I don't know why that is. Because as you know, I'm a pretty big Omega serial dude, and they're hard to remember. This is a beauty. Look at that. That's the original one. But I want to show you some of these great ads. A special officially certified chronometer capable of working in magnetic fields up to 1000 Gauss. This was in a magazine. I wish it said the price. I wish somewhere it was probably like $100 or $125. But I love these. I'm gonna actually get a whole bunch of these things and print them and frame them. The Daytona Speedway. Look at that. You'd think they'd be using a Daytona, but they weren't. You know why? Because there wasn't a Daytona yet. There was a Speedmaster. And then they've got all these guys wearing their Milgausses. They're all racers. Every second counts. It's incredible. He's wearing the Oyster Perpetual. Because remember, it is an Oyster Perpetual. 1960 to 1988. They had the 1019, which is a very handsome, simple watch, right? A beautiful three-hander. I actually love that. You never see these in the wild, and you never see them on chrono. You never see them anywhere. And then they started to get beefed up. You know, you had the 1019, and then you had, look at this beautiful brushed steel dial, and you got the lume on the ends. Oh, man, it's exciting. They were really, it was an important member of the Rolex family. And I love these watches. They're so beautiful. And they people wore them. And then this was when they came back. They discontinued it in 88, and it came back in 2007. And the first one that came back was just this: no green glass, no sapphire, green sapphire. You had the orange markers on the outer track, but it did have the lightning seconds hand. And then my baby came in, and which has got all blue lume except for the 3, 6, and 9, which is green, and it is so beautiful. And it's my favorite of them all. I know that the Z Blue, and then Roger Federer, who's my favorite tennis player. Well, I'm a very big tennis fanatic, and I've been a Roger fan forever. Look how perfect that looks on his wrist. Classy guy, classy watch. Of course, he's a big brand ambassador. So that's the original one that came out. It's very handsome, isn't it? It's beautiful. Those are the bastard child. Those are the easiest ones to get cheap. There's mine. Absolutely beautiful, stunning. These are great pictures. Look at that sexy. I want to frame that photograph. Oy, look at that. I'm gonna have to try that and put a couple of drops of water on there, see what it does. See, that's the all blue lume on the white dial, which is quite beautiful. John Hamm's wearing one now in the morning show. Ashton Kutcher, I don't like him. Daniel Craig, I love him. Look at that green. Amazing. They have the 3-1-3-1 movement in them, a very hardy, very robust. It's probably going to come back, and they'll probably just, they'll up the movement. And then, of course, the Z Blue came out, and the whole world said, "Ooh, we love that." And it is beautiful. I've said this 1,000 times. I love a sunburst dial. I just don't think the green and the blue work very well together. I think it pops better on the green. And then it's a whole article on here. It's just unbelievable. I'm going to copy that. Right. And I'm going to post it for everybody to read, some homework for you guys, because it's absolutely fantastic. I think everybody should read that. It's great. Oh, we got a couple super chats. Nathaniel Hannon, excuse me, but every night is geek night. That's what we do. We geek out. Some days it's wine, some days it's guitars, some days it's, some crazy cunt online at the post office. If you weren't here for that, that's why I called it Armageddon tonight, because some crazy racist bitch decided, because I'm just a garden variety white guy, that she could tell me what she thinks. Give an upvote. It's free, and it only takes a moment. Isn't that the truth? And I wish more people would do that. Because Ashin's got his stream, and we started putting our stream on there because it brings the viewers in, and it really, really helps. But when he goes out on his own show, we absolutely 100% have to split it up. So while I'm grateful for the audience that we get when he's doing his show, that's his show, man. And it's important that everybody goes and enjoys Ashin's show. It's very popular. It's like the most popular, talk show on watch related on the internet. Of course, Bashers is not watch related. It's watch adjacent. So I just put the link to iBashers at the bottom. Please like and subscribe if you can. There's the lovely Carolyn Meriton. Hello, Carolyn Meriton. G. I never asked her if she likes Star Trek. I guess I won't. She would have told me if she did. Oh, he apologizes. Android decided to change name. You know what Siri does? She does a lot worse than that. One day she said, like, I fucked the milkman. Like I was writing home. I was like, something like, I ran into the mailman and it said, guess what? I fucked the mailman. He's like, what? I didn't fuck the mailman. Kurt Callan. Hey, Kurt. Thank you. Oh, $20 US dollars. Wow. That's very nice. Show the love. I love the show, Dirk. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for showing us the love. We love it. Carolyn Martin says stunning. It's a beautiful watch. I love the Z Blue. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love mine way, way, way more. I just think it's beautiful. Z Milgauss looks snap on you. Congratulations. Well deserved, man. It's just it couldn't possibly. He took one link out, and I don't have I might be not a big bruiser of a guy, little stocky guy, but I'm not a bruiser in any way, but I have a 7.25-inch wrist and it fits me absolutely perfectly. Oh, I just saw the green. Oh, you only get the flashes of it. What I like to do is this now. It's my new favorite thing. It's how I started the show. I went, Armageddon. Just do the loom shots. Amazing, right? Looks so cool. Thank you, Kurt, very, very much. Thank you, Easy. And hey, it's 7:02. Do you know where your children are? So everybody, I want to thank Asheen for sending a bunch of you over my way, and everybody Timmy's on, and I'm sure he'd be grateful for you guys to go visit him. It's obviously going to be watch chat, watch gossip, watch everything. And, he's a fabulous guy. He's got a little bit of COVID, and he's getting over it. So show him some love if you can. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. It's an hour show, Monday through Friday. Wednesdays, Classic Bashers with the Sheen. We have Fashion Police from 4 to 5, and then from 5 to 6. The only day this show is 6 to 7 is Fridays, because Asheen is doing Who Needs a Drink. And everybody wants to get a drink. And thank you so much. Love you all. Hope to see you next Monday. Have a great one. Cheers.